Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. This is going to be a fun one. Even more fun than normal because we're going to be talking about music, the epitome of musical genius, if we're being honest. No music has ever come as close to attaining such perfection as the soundtrack of the High School Musical movies. Now, I grew up with the 90s to 2012 era Disney. So I was the perfect age for High School Musical and Lemonade Mouth and Camp Rock and all of that. And the songs from those movies made up the large part of my study music when I was in high school. So when I say they are ingrained in my mind, I'm not exaggerating. I haven't watched the movies in a long time, but I listen to the songs pretty regularly. And on my most recent listen, I got to thinking, which movie had the best songs? I hadn't ever really thought about it, if you can believe it. I like the first movie the least, but I've never thought that was because of the music. I think the production value just kept getting better with each movie. But once I had that thought, I couldn't shake it. And the more I thought about it, the more complicated the question seemed to become. Some songs are epic because of the scene. Can I Have This Dance? Made my little 9-year-old heart swoon so much harder than should have been possible, considering I didn't even know what romance was at that age. And Bet on It. It's just inseparable from the purely golden dramatic performance that Zac Efron gives. So how exactly would I judge which movie has better music without judging which movie I think is better? Or are those just the same thing? No, I don't think so. A movie can have great songs and be a bad movie. So in this video, we're gonna try figure it out. I'm gonna rank all the songs from all three movies, and whichever movie has more songs in the top 10 will be the movie that has the best music. Now, how am I going to rank such iconic genius? It's a difficult task, but I will attempt to set some rules so that each song is judged by the same criteria. For one, how well does a song stand on its own? Do I enjoy it as much when I listen to it on Spotify, or is it one that only really works inside the movie? Now, this could work in reverse as well, because if I like a song more on Spotify than in the movie it was written for, that's a problem. Remember, we're judging which movie has the best music. However, that will be handled by the next criteria. For this one, in order to get a high score, a song has to be enjoyable outside of the movie, when only listening on Spotify. The second criteria will then be how good the song is in the movie. The choreography, the performance of it all. Does it keep me entertained the whole time, or do I feel like skipping over the song just to get back to the rest of the movie? Simple enough, right? The third criteria will be how well the song ties into the movie. If the song was cut completely, would the plot still function? Now, there are some songs that I love with all my heart, but could really be cut from the movie and wouldn't really change anything. For example, one of my favorites is HumuHumuNukuNukuApua'A, and it only exists in a bonus scene. So in this criteria, it would score very low. Lastly, overall enjoyment. Obviously, while the other three criteria are important in trying to be fair, how much I like a song, how much it makes me want to sing along or get up and dance, is the most important thing of all. Each song will receive a score out of 10 for each criteria, and then based on their final score out of 40, we'll have our definitive ranking. Make sense? Alright, then let's get into it. I Want It All, High School Musical 3. Now, I love this song. Please do not eat me alive for this. But I think it's a song that you enjoy much more when actually watching the scene. The beginning is great and a lot of fun, even when listening on Spotify. But when you get to the middle, where it's all a lot of instrumentals, you need the visuals, the dancing, to keep you in it. This was a performance, a lot like Broadway, as many of the songs from the third movie are. It's a production, And in order to get the full effect, you need to be watching, which is why I'll give it a 9 for how good the song is in the movie. Ashley Tisdale and Lucas Braville's performances in this are amazing. They both just lean into the theatrical nature of this performance perfectly. It's very fun to watch. For how well the song ties into the movie, again, I'm so sorry guys, but I think I'm gonna have to give it a low score, like a 4. I mean, if you take this scene out, the movie will be less fun, sure, but the plot is unhurt. We already know that Sharpay wants to be famous. We already know how ambitious she is and all her hopes and dreams for stardom. We also already know that Ryan is not as committed to being famous as she is. Like, it doesn't drive his every action. When she's plotting against the protagonists, Gabriella and Troy, he doesn't really care. It was shown in the first movie and again in the second movie, so this isn't news. Unfortunately, this song just isn't that important. Don't worry though, in the last criteria, it gets a big score, an 8. I have so much fun when the song comes on. I've already said it. I love the production value. I love the costumes. I love the story they tell. I love the back and forth between Ryan and Sharpay. I love the choreography, and I definitely have to sing along every single time. The only reason it's not a 10 is because I think they could have cut out this bridge section that comes after the second verse, because it makes the song just a little too long for me, and I don't really like it. But it's very short, so it doesn't do too much damage. Fabulous High School Musical 2. It's a banger. I don't know what to tell you guys. It's simply a banger. I obviously love it more when I'm watching Sharpay be extra, but even without the visuals, it's a good song. This is going to be such a short explanation for the first, second, and third criteria because it's one of my favorite songs in the entire soundtrack. So that's a 10 on overall enjoyment, and watching it is so much fun. It's the first time at the resort, which is a new setting. We get the whole sequence with the pool, and again, Ashley Tisdale just killing it with her performance. Another 10. The only reason I give it a 9 for how well it stands on its own is because I enjoy it more when I get to watch it, so I had to give it 1 point less. As far as how it ties into the movie, again, here it gets a low score. It hurts me, it genuinely hurts me, but I'm trying to be fair. Much like I Want It All, it doesn't really tell us anything new about Sharpay or Ryan or any other character. Sharpay is a spoiled brat. She liked Troy, she doesn't like Gabriella. Nothing new. The only reason I gave it 1 more than I Want It All is because we didn't really know how spoiled she was in the first movie. She was mean and entitled, yeah, but we didn't know that she was rich and actually spoiled by her parents, so at least that's new, right? You Are the Music in Me, Sharpay. High School Musical 2. For how good the song is in the movie and overall enjoyment, I just simply have to give it a 10. I love Sharpay, and honestly, I love Ashley Tisdale as a whole. I love Troy here, being all weirded out and overwhelmed. I love the energy and that the song is just so fast and upbeat. I love it all. So 10 out of 10. For how well the song stands on its own, I have to give it a little lower because while it's still fun, most of the fun comes from watching the scene, and most of the time I find myself wanting to go look for it on YouTube rather than just listening on Spotify. But it's still a great listen, don't get me wrong. It still makes me smile and dance in my seat. Once again though, it isn't super relevant to the movie. It could honestly be cut out, and it might be actually, though I could be confusing that with HumuHumu. They might cut out both of them, I can't remember, and that's just exactly the problem. It's fun to see Sharpay like this, but it's not necessary, so it scores a 3. Everyday High School Musical 2. I don't love this song, guys. It has some nice harmonies, but it doesn't feel appropriate for the conflict it's supposed to be resolving. Gabriella broke up with Troy, and this is the song they sing to basically signal that she forgives him and they're back together. And I just don't feel like it lives up to that. The breakup was so painful, and I wanted an equally as emotional reunion. For that reason, I don't love listening to it on Spotify. I don't really feel compelled to sing along or dance. It can just play in the background and I barely pay attention. But god damn it if it isn't a vastly different experience when you watch the scene. The acting is amazing. Vanessa Hudgens and Zac Efron are just so good at bringing out that emotion that I wanted from the song. The way they look at each other, when Gabriella leans her head on Troy's shoulder, the way he keeps touching her and wanting to hold her hand. It's just all so cute and sweet and adorable. And it makes me actually pay attention to the lyrics, which made me realize that the song actually does resolve the conflict. It talks about how losing yourself when chasing your dreams makes the dream mean less. The whole if you have everything you want but no one to share it with, what do you really have kind of thing. Which was what Troy realized after being a jerk for half the movie. But in order for that message to come through, I really have to be watching the scene, not just listening. It does mean that the song is very important to the movie though. It's Gabriella and Troy's reunion after the breakup, as I said. And they even have this part where they bring Sharpay on stage, showing how they, once again, forgive her for everything she's done. Overall, one of the more average songs for me. I love every High School Musical song, but this one is just kind of meh compared to the others. We're all in this together. High School Musical 1. Another banger. Come on. Who did not learn the choreography for this song? Let's be serious. Iconic. I still know the dance moves and do them whenever I hear this song, at least for one chorus. This was a great end to the first movie. So high energy and fun. So of course it scores high on enjoyment. However, just listening on Spotify, it isn't as fun as watching it. It doesn't rely as heavily on the performance as Every Day because it still makes me want to dance along, but it is much better if you are watching it. As for its relevance, I don't know, that depends on how relevant you think closing numbers are. I mean, we have Breaking Free before this, which could have served as the last number. It ties off all the story beats and our protagonists have a happy ending. So why did they add this one? I'm not sure, but I am so glad that they did. It allows us to have Sharpay and Ryan be a part of the group, the trend of each movie and how they forgive Sharpay by the end. But if it didn't exist, what would be missing from the movie? Nothing, technically. Such a bummer, but I'm gonna have to give it a low score for that. Walk Away, High School Musical 3. I constantly forget that this song even exists. And then when I listen to it, I'm like, ooh, this is a good song. Vanessa Hudgens sounds so pretty in this. Because I never really remember it, it isn't tied to the performance in my mind. So I can listen to it like any other heartbreak song and enjoy it. It has such a good line when she says, I let my heart and forever finally know each other's names. Like, oof, it makes me sad for her. Then I watch the scene and I'm like, it's kind of boring. Like, it reminds me of When There Was Me and You in the first movie, only worse, where Vanessa Hudgens has to carry the whole song and it just doesn't deliver what it's meant to. I'd rather listen to it on Spotify than watch it on YouTube, and as I said in the intro, that's not a good thing for the movie. But how relevant is it? If we took it out, we'd lose a lot. It's the entire sequence of her packing up and leaving. It shows us her pain over leaving. It explains why she doesn't tell Troy she's not coming back because she won't survive that goodbye. And it even shows how lonely Troy is without her. An important song, we can't cut it out. It could be improved, but not removed. When There Was Me and You, High School Musical 1. The lyrics of this song are incredible. so many lines that had my little preteen heart breaking, like she was some kind of poet. I felt her betrayal in my soul, guys. When this song comes on, I have to sing along, as if I myself am also heartbroken. It's crazy that this came next in the shuffle after I literally talked about it with the last song. But honestly, Spotify is very clever because, like I said, the two songs are similar in purpose. We're seeing into Gabriella's head. It's stuff she isn't going to tell anyone. She's going to pretend that hearing Troy say the audition doesn't matter doesn't hurt her. Like, she's over it. But with this song, we know she isn't. We know how much she really likes Troy and how disappointed she is, and that she really believes it was all just a game to him. So it's not a song that you can just cut out. In the movie, the song is great. I mean, the performance is a bit cringy, but I also kind of like it like that. She's supposed to be like 16, right? Who isn't cringy at 16? Gabriella looks genuinely so sad, and she's moving slowly around the empty school by herself, singing about how she's looking in from the outside. It's appropriate. I do, however, prefer the song on Spotify, so unfortunately, that gives it a lower score. Start of something new, High School Musical 1. The first song in the trilogy. It feels like I should give it a high score just out of respect. Enjoyment level is high for this one. I love the harmonies. I mean, it's not a showstopper, but I know all the lyrics and I always sing along, so that has to count for something. I do enjoy it more when I watch it, because seeing Gabriella go from timid and shy to opening up and actually laughing and dancing is just so nice. I love the chemistry Troy and Gabriella obviously have, which is important because their relationship is the focal point of the whole show. It also shows off their characters. Like, he's the cool, popular guy, so of course he's able to go up on stage and just have fun. And she's moved around a lot, so she feels like an outsider all the time. Never really made friends, so she's shy and awkward, but he's able to get her to relax and have fun. It's an important song because it shows us that instant connection that they have and how music is a huge part of that connection. It brings out something in both of them. Not to mention how on the nose the lyrics are. When I actually watch the scene, I end up smiling along with them. Like, their energy is just infectious through the screen, which you don't really get just from listening. But I enjoy myself either way. Now or Never, High School Musical 3. A banger! I literally sat up in my seat as soon as it started playing. My goodness, the beats in the song are amazing. The background vocals with the cheerleaders saying Wildcats and the coach being like, come on boys, come on boys. It's just such a hype song. I love it when Gabriella stands up and is like, try. I love the marching band section, the lyrics. Honestly, the whole thing is amazing. Even without watching it, you can just feel the passion. Then when you do watch it, my goodness, the tension, the intensity is so real. They want this and you want it for them. The cheerleaders, the reaction of the crowd, the rest of the team on the bench, and Troy's dad and Zac Efron's acting. I mean, honestly, one of the best songs in my opinion. And of course, that dramatic moment when Troy is fouled and everyone acts like he just got punched in the face, and Gabriella giving him the strength to go on. Like, it's funny, but also just the best part. Plus, the production on this is amazing. It looks beautiful all these years later. You can tell the budget for High School Musical 3 was much higher. As for relevance to the movie, debatable. I mean, probably not that relevant, honestly. It's a basketball game, but without any stakes beyond this being their last chance for the championship. And we already know that from the speech they get from their coach earlier. So we could technically do without this. But it's an opening number and it sets the tone for the whole movie. They're all really concerned about this being the end of high school and this being their last chance to do things together, which is why they agreed to do the play in the first place. So this song as an opening number is meaningful. It's not just about basketball. Still, it could be removed, and other than a great opener, the plot wouldn't suffer. So it has to get a low score on that. And that alone. Bet on it, High School Musical 2. I think it goes without saying that this song is much better when you're watching Troy prance around the golf course. But even without his amazing performance, this song is so fun. It's the ultimate sing-along song. You don't need to see him to start dancing, pointing aggressively at whatever you can. This song turns us all into performers, and for that, it deserves a 10 for enjoyment and how good it is in the movie. But for the first time, I'm also going to give a 10 for standing on its own. This will be the first song to get the same score for listenability on Spotify as for how good it is in the movie. And I think that might put it as number 1 right now. But hey, I can't argue with the facts. This song is freaking iconic. Plus, it's incredibly relevant because it's Troy's whole redemption. It's him actually taking accountability for how he's been acting and making a decision to change. You cannot cut this song from the movie. Wait, does that mean it gets a perfect score? It does, people! We'll have to wait until the end to know for sure. It might tie with something else, but for now, it looks like Bet on It might be the best song in all 3 movies. Stick to the status quo, High School Musical 1. I love how dramatic everyone is about the confessions these kids make. Zeke is like, I bake, and everyone is like, huh? What? Shut up, don't say that. Hilarious. This song is just so fun. I feel like I've said that about every song on here, but I said it in the beginning. These songs are the epitome of musical genius. I really like this one because of the back and forth with the characters and their friends when they're making these confessions. It's very similar to the back and forth in I Want It All, and I love that kind of music. I also really love how the stoner dude is like, saw! This guy says he plays the cello. It's just so funny. However, as much as I like to listen to this song, I almost always search for the video if the song comes on Spotify. It's very dependent on the performance and the choreography and all that. Like, I need to see everyone's dramatic reactions to these pretty tame confessions and the way they just break out dancing after Gabriella comes in and they both jump, which means that they are actually dancing and singing in the cafeteria, right? The choreography is great and clever and dramatic, which I love so much. And the lyrics are actually pretty clever and fun. So yeah, it's more enjoyable in the movie than on Spotify, but 10 out of 10 enjoyment overall. As for relevance, I honestly couldn't think of a more relevant song in this movie. It's the conflict of the entire plot. Troy and Gabriella are stirring the pot by doing these auditions, and their friends don't like it. This scene shows us why it's such a big deal and sets up the pressure that Troy is going to feel throughout the movie. The boys are back, High School Musical 3. This, much like HumuHumu, was one of my favorite songs for a long time, but it is also, like HumuHumu, one of the most irrelevant songs in the movie. It's a lot of fun, and it's nice to see Troy and Chad's friendship, but we've already been told how close they are. We already know they've known each other forever and that they're basically each other's ride or die. So this really isn't a necessary song. It could be cut from the movie quite easily. It's a fun sequence to watch, though, because both actors were clearly having so much fun doing it. And it's nice to just see characters having fun with each other, you know? It's like filler episodes in a series. That's what this scene really is, actually. It's filler. Fun filler, but still filler. I'll give it an 8 for enjoyment, purely because we get to see this tiny Chad and Troy, and it's just so adorable. The choreography is so cool. And I could just imagine 2 best friends actually just goofing off like this in the junkyard, so it feels real. But yeah, unfortunately, unnecessary, and just not as fun on Spotify. HumuHumuNukuNukuApua'A, High School Musical 2. Okay, so I think Spotify actually hears me talk because I swear this isn't planned. I told you I put the playlist on shuffle, but it played this song right after The Boys Are Back, which seems like it proves my point for me. What can I say about this song? It's simply amazing. From Ryan's rap to Sharpay speaking fish to her trying to make her voice deeper when she's pretending to be the prince to just the entire chorus of HumuHumuNukuNukuApua'A, Makahiki Malahini Hu. Amazing! Genius writing right there. An incredible song that I enjoy both when I listen and when I watch. When you're watching it, there's the added bonus of Troy just being completely astounded the entire time. Ryan living his best life, and just Sharpay. I don't know how many times I'll say this, but Ashley Tisdale is a queen. She kills it as Sharpay. The choreography is hilarious. The lyrics, as I said, life-altering. Seriously, I honestly don't know what else to say. It's the best song in the trilogy. Save the fact that it is 100% irrelevant and not even included in the actual movie. I think it's just a bonus scene, though I might be wrong. Anyway, this is my favorite song to listen to and to watch, and so I give it a 10 for everything except relevance. A true work of art. We're all in this together, the graduation mix, High School Musical 3. Another song that I forget about. I actually had to search it up to even see when it plays because I was sure, and I was right, that it's just a background thing while the names are being called at graduation. So I won't waste time with it. It's there for nostalgia purposes, and I guess it does its job. But I would never listen to this on Spotify, and I would only hear it in the background if I decided to search for the graduation scene. So don't be surprised that I gave it a low score. However, as it's not even really an actual performance in the movie, it does stand alone pretty well. I may not care about it, but on Spotify, it's a whole song with really beautiful harmonies, so I'll be fair and give it the score it deserves in that category. Since it's not really a performance, I don't really know how to score it on how it ties into the movie. Like, the scene could obviously play out as it is without the background singing. We might just not feel the same pang in our hearts as we do with it. So for that, I mean, it's not completely useless, but it's not very important either. It could be any slow song, I think, so I'll give it something like a 3. Work This Out, High School Musical 2. My third favorite choreography. I used to know it so well. I don't anymore, but that's gonna change. I will learn it again. I can never listen to this song and be still in my seat. I always sing along. I love the attitude everyone has. I love the optimistic Troy. I love the instrumental break where they try to convince us they make all this noise with pots and pans. I mean, watching it is just so much fun. And as I said, I love the choreography. I think I love these energetic songs, if that isn't obvious by now. And this one feels particularly chaotic. I also love that Gabriella is just being the cutest supporting girlfriend in this. Like, look at this. She's so in love with him and it's so cute. Troy's energy is the best, and it's one of these scenes that just show why he's so popular. He's a charismatic guy and it really shows in this song. Also, this song is one of those ones that show that they're all actually friends. They have chemistry with each other. They have fun together. They actually like each other. Not just because the script put them all in a room together, you know? I like the way everyone's personalities kind of have a moment to shine. And again, the choreography, so fun. Then there's the fact that it's incredibly important to the story. This scene is where Troy convinces everyone to stay, saying that as long as they're together, they can get through it. Because remember, it's summer and they're all working. They don't really want to be there. They're only here because of him. So when he is suddenly AWOL, hanging out with basketball players and ditching them, we understand why they're so annoyed. Because we had this scene. It's not a vital scene. Like, you could cut it out and story would still function. but without it, the movie loses a lot of depth. It's much better for having the song in it, which makes it important, and thus gives it a high score there. Gotta Go My Own Way, High School Musical 2. I feel like I need to take a breath before I can talk about this one. It makes me want to cry every damn time. Goodness gracious, the heartbreak I experienced at such a young age because of this breakup. Good Lord, the harmonies, the damn harmonies, the lyrics. When Troy comes in with, "What about us?" And that's just listening to it. Actually watching it, seeing the pain in both their eyes, the way he's pleading with her, the way the tears are just balancing like this when she tells him, "You'll be okay." Like, imagine breaking up with someone and telling them, "You'll be okay." Man, it hurts me so much. I'd say I'll never forgive Disney for this, except that this song is an absolute banger, and I don't want to live in a world where it doesn't exist. I might have to do a whole other video talking about this song and this scene in general, because my girl had boundaries. She tried to talk to him once and then was like, "Yeah, I'm not doing this, and I'm not going to argue with you about it. If this is who you want to be, cool, but that's not for me," and left. A role model. And the way he hugs her, when he says, "Why do you have to go?" and ending with her giving back the tea necklace. Good Lord. I seriously fight tears every time. I'm not joking. Perfection. Do I really need to explain the relevance of Troy and Gabriella's breakup scene? I think not. We all know this is another perfect score situation. What I've been looking for, Troy and Gabriella, High School Musical 1. Well, this is a short one. I wish they'd released a full version because I actually really like it. It's slow and it's sweet with really pretty harmonies, but it's only like a minute long, so you don't really get to enjoy it. It's obviously better in the movie because you get to watch them looking at each other all sweet and romantic, but it's still not much. I can't really say I enjoy the performance because, again, it's not really a performance. It's nice though. Sweet, like I said. It's of course incredibly important because if they don't sing this, then they don't get the call back and the whole movie is basically over. So that means a 10, right? Breaking Free, High School Musical 1. This is another one that relies heavily on the visuals for me, but I think it does a better job standing alone than Every Day, just by a little. I don't have much to say about it though, to be honest. Sometimes I sing along, sometimes I don't. It's like, meh. I like it, but I don't love it, you know? But when I'm watching it, I enjoy it a lot more. As I've said so many times, Troy is a charismatic guy. And seeing him get Gabriella to open up and watching them just smile at each other as they sing gives such warm and fuzzy feelings. Like, you have to smile as well. And then there's the crowd's reaction, which of course adds to the fun of the performance. So watching it is a lot more fun than just listening to it. How well does it fit into the movie? I mean, it's the culmination of everything. This is the performance the whole movie has been building up to. You can't exactly cut that out, can you? So, an obvious 10 there. I Don't Dance, High School Musical 2. This song was my ringtone for a time, so that should tell you all you need to know about how much I enjoy it. Instant and obvious 10. Is there a more fun song in the trilogy? Even though I never learned any kind of choreography for this song, I still always find myself dancing. It's impossible to sit still during this song, and I defy anyone to try. Watching it is a whole other thing in itself. I wish I could give it double points just for how incredibly fun it is. Chad and Ryan, I mean, such an unlikely duo to lead a song, and yet they have one of the best ones in all three movies. So good, in fact, that it inspired many people to believe they were attracted to each other. Now listen, I don't know anything about that, or what was or wasn't proven, but I definitely get it. The chemistry is crazy. The choreography is crazy. It being set in a basketball pitch, is a new and unique setting. Everything about it is just fun. I don't know how else to put it, even though I've said that about most of the other songs as well. High School Musical is just a fun franchise. What can I say? Now here comes the sticky part. How important is this to the plot? Don't kill me. Please don't kill me, but I don't think it's very important. It's not useless because it shows us Ryan actually kind of crossing over from antagonist to friend. And it sets up that, I want to call it jealousy, that Troy feels towards Ryan. He's the one now always stuck with Sharpay while Ryan gets to hang out with his friends and his girlfriend and have fun. But is it important? Not really. I'm sorry, but it just isn't. If we took it out, the plot would carry on pretty much the same. I don't think any of us really needed a scene where Chad was convinced to dance. Like, if we saw him learning some moves later on, we'd be like, hey, Chad would never. He doesn't dance. No. So, unfortunately, this gets much lower points than I wanted to give it. What I've been looking for, Sharpay and Ryan's version, High School Musical 1. Can we just applaud them for being able to perform a romantic song and actually make it feel like sibling or platonic love? First and foremost, respect that. It's another kind of short one, which I don't mind, but it lacks the drama and production that we get from Sharpay and Ryan in future installments, and I really prefer those to this kind of production. Just listening to it is kind of boring, if I'm honest. Like, I'll sing because I like the harmonies, but I definitely don't dance or anything like that. I'm gonna have to give it a low score for that. Watching it is far more entertaining. Like, from the beginning, with them pretending to be shocked to see each other when they sing, "You were always right beside me," it's freaking hilarious. And Miss Darvis's reaction to their dancing actually made me laugh out loud. I will never not love how extra Ryan is and how he just does so much when he's performing. I swear you could convince me that they're actually siblings with the way these two perform together. It very much gives the feeling of a brother and a sister who practice this at home. I love them, and that's the only reason I'll bump up my enjoyment score to a 6 rather than the 4 I wanted to give at first. However, is it important? Well, I don't know. I actually don't. I mean, it's the only good audition we see. I guess it's necessary to show why Sharpay is so annoyed by Troy and Gabriella interfering with her show. She's the star. She's actually good. Miss Darvis loves her. Plus, Troy and Gabriella are watching it, and it basically shows them what they're getting into. But if we took it out, what would happen? I really don't know, to be honest, guys. It's not really necessary conflict. They could have just had the one audition at the end, so I don't know. It's not useless, but it's not important. That's what I've settled on, which unfortunately gives it a very low score in this category. Get your head in the game, High School Musical 1. I love the opening of this song, with the beats coming from the basketballs and the shoes and the net. I love it. It gets my head bobbing like almost immediately. I used to start singing this song whenever I needed to focus. I'd just be like, I need to get my head in the game. So yes, I always sing along even when it's just on Spotify. But my overall enjoyment definitely goes up when I'm watching the scene. The choreography is just so, say it with me now, fun. I particularly love the end when they're dancing with the basketballs. Now, I don't know if this is because I'm tired, because I've been listening to High School Musical songs for like 3 hours now, but I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would. I wasn't as hyped even when I watched the video, which is surprising. Importance. It falls into the same category as When There Was Me and You. It's a glimpse into Troy's mind. He's conflicted. He's being pulled in what feels like 2 different directions and he can't figure out what to do. I don't know if that's really any revelation though, because he says what he's feeling to his dad when his dad tries to tell him he's not a singer, he's a playmaker, and he's like, "Did you ever think I could be both?" Plus, he has a scene later on when he's trying to play basketball but can't because he's thinking about the audition in Gabriella. And I think even way earlier in the movie, he just flat out tells Gabriella that he's known as the basketball guy. So his inner conflict isn't really a secret. And that's all this song really tells us. So I think that means that it's not super relevant. We could take it out and the story would be fine. It's a nice way to visualize it though. So I won't give it a score as low as The Boys Are Back. Right here, right now, High School Musical 3. Oh, is there a sweeter song? Yes. Can I Have This Dance is a sweeter song. But this is up there on the sweetness songs list. It's not my favorite, and frankly, I don't even really know the lyrics, but damn if it isn't cute. If this song came on, I would let it play in the background, probably singing a few lines here and there, but I wouldn't feel compelled to sing along to the whole thing, and it wouldn't distract me from whatever else I was doing. But gosh, Vanessa Hudgens' voice is so pretty. Now, the scene in the movie is even sweeter. There's really nothing cuter than how Gabriella looks at Troy. They're so believably in love, and the way Troy just casually waves his hand like this when they're saying tomorrow can wait. It's such a small thing that makes the scene more impactful than just listening to it. Troy and Gabriella are just so cute. I cannot. Can the movie do without it? Absolutely. Cute and moving as it is, we don't need it to tell us that Gabriella is stressing about leaving and the future of their relationship is uncertain, and definitely not that they love each other. It's a touching but unnecessary scene. I Just Want to Be With You, High School Musical 3. There is no better example of a song that functions so differently on Spotify than it does in the movie. I like to listen to this song on Spotify. I sing along, I feel the feels, and it's great. But I can watch these scenes a million times in the movie. There's an edit on YouTube actually that I prefer watching that joins the two scenes together. The one from rehearsal early in the movie and the one at the end when Troy and Gabriella come back. Sometimes I can't find it and it makes me feel like I'm losing my freaking mind because I know it exists. I love that edit because it's so nice to actually see the setup and payoff one after the other rather than having to wait the whole movie. Troy and Gabriella, as I've said, are just so cute. And then everyone hugging Gabriella because they also haven't seen her in a while. It's just so freaking wholesome. And the two versions don't have the same ending. Like the ending in the song on Spotify doesn't end with the whole ensemble, which is my favorite part. So while I love the Spotify one, I will always switch to the actual video on YouTube, which means it gets a low score there. Relevance? I mean, of course it's relevant. It's a final play they're doing together. Troy goes all the way to get Gabriella because he knows she doesn't actually want to miss this. Doing the play was her idea in the first place. It's her getting to come back and say goodbye to the first place she ever made friends and felt like she belonged. And the beginning part has Ryan asking Kelsey to prom and sets up Ryan doing all the choreography and stuff. So when he wins the Juilliard scholarship, it's well earned. No two ways about it, this song is necessary. Can I Have This Dance? High School Musical 3. The most romantic song ever. Don't at me. I couldn't count the number of times I waltzed around my living room to this song. I almost always listen to it twice in a row so that I can sing first Gabriella's part and then Troy's. This song might actually play at my wedding if I end up having one, and I'm so serious it could be my first dance. This song made me feel like their love was the most iconic thing to ever exist. It has the prettiest harmonies ever, and then when you watch it, it has the prettiest dancing ever. My goodness, like this choreography is just so stunning. And their outfits, and then when they're dancing to it with everyone else later, when he's gone to get her, like, why can't I have this in my life? I'm so sure I don't need to mention how they look at each other again. I've said it over and over again. And then it starts raining. Nothing more needs to be said. Could we do without this scene? Now let's try to be rational here. because my instinct is to say absolutely not. But okay, let's think it through. Troy asks her to prom before they start singing, so it's not like we wouldn't have that if we took the song out. Plus, I don't think any of us really needed a scene of him asking her anyway. Like, obviously they would go together, so if they just showed up together, no one would raise an eyebrow. However, the scene does exist without this song. Later on, when he goes to get her, he gives her the speech about how his prom is wherever she is, again, before the song starts playing. So we could also have that, but hear me out. I think the song is at least a bit important because they're singing about how nothing can keep them apart and their relationship keeps getting better the longer they're together. That's important to the plot because in the end, Troy's choice of school, something he's conflicted about for the whole movie, is in large part influenced by where Gabriella is. She is more important to him than basketball or singing, and that's highlighted in this song when they're singing about how what they have is so rare and special. So yes, the story may function without it, but I really think it's better for it. You Are the Music in Me, High School Musical 2. The harmonies in these movies are so good. I know a lot of what I say is sounding repetitive, and I'm sorry, but I'll repeat what I started this video saying. These movies are the epitome of musical genius. This is another one of those pretty songs. It's just sweet and wholesome. Not a banger, not a high energy one, just a nice song to sing along to and watch for the warm fuzzy feelings. I particularly like the lyrics of this one because it was the perfect explanation of love for my preteen brain. I love music. Like, it's just a part of who I am. So I could really understand when they say stuff like, your harmony to the melody is echoing inside my head. Or, when I hear my favorite song, I know that we belong. It just always made sense to me. And of course, watching it, it's always nice to see Gabriella and Troy just gazing into each other's eyes. This one is actually pretty even in terms of listening versus watching enjoyment for me. Somewhere around a 7. A part of me wants to say we could do without it, but I don't think we could. Troy doesn't want to do any kind of performance this summer, but it's after the song that he gives in. He just can't resist performing with Gabriella. And I think it's important to show how much he actually enjoys performing, rather than having Gabriella convince him with a speech or something. So it might not be vital, but I think it's important. So somewhere in the middle. High School Musical, High School Musical 3. This song closes off the conflict of the whole movie. Neither Troy nor Gabriella want to move on. They're both holding on to each other and the familiar. But this song is them finally letting go, acknowledging that high school was amazing, but also embracing the future. It absolutely cannot be cut from the movie. It's also kind of talking to the audience. I was too young to really get it when it came out, but when I was graduating from high school, this movie nearly made me cry. It's not just a closed chapter for the characters, but for us as well, since this is the last movie. The characters are saying goodbye to each other, and us to them. Watching it is such an emotional roller coaster. It's so chaotic, so much is happening, the choreography is complex and with so many people, but it's fun and energetic, and the actors are clearly giving it their all. I love some of the callbacks, like Sharpay starting the jazz hands and the roller coaster move from What Time Is It? And the way that Sharpay and Ryan come in is so similar to how they come in at the end of the first movie in We're All In This Together. And the ending, oh man, it's so emotional. When the curtain closes and the sign comes down and then they jump up, gosh, it really feels like an ending. And it's bittersweet because it's such a good movie, so you're happy about that. But it's over, which is so sad. Honestly, I think it's a perfect ending to the trilogy. It had the sweet Gabriella and Troy moments that we love. It had great dancing, which I love. It had Sharpay and Ryan shenanigans. Just great. No notes. What Time Is It? High School Musical 2. The ultimate hype song. The energy is off the charts and starts this movie off with a bomb. It sets the tone for the rest of the songs in this movie. An incredibly high bar they all somehow seem to reach and surpass. It gets me dancing and drumming my fingers and shouting, "What time is it?" every damn time. So, it's safe to say it stands on its own. But then when you watch it, man, you get even more hyped. I mean, how can you not be when you have people jumping off lockers like this? Chad doing this whole dance solo hype man thing with the cheerleaders, this whole basketball sequence, and all this group choreography at the beginning, mind you, not at the end like we're used to. Like, come on! This movie started with a bang. It's for that reason that I say it's important. It sets the tone. They're all excited to have fun and chill out and just enjoy summer, and this perfectly shows that. We could do without the sequence because it's not difficult to have us believe that teenagers are excited for summer without a whole musical number, but this level of enthusiasm makes their frustration with Troy all the more believable down the line. It's not useless even if it's not crucial, so I won't give it low in that criteria. I'd like to remember High School Musical 3. I've already said how I love this back and forth type of song, so it shouldn't surprise anyone that I love this song. Not to mention the harmonies. I'm a sucker for harmonies. Just like I Want It All, this song is so much fun to sing, but watching it is a whole different experience. My favorite part is the beginning when the guys are all reluctant and the girls are so excited. When Troy is like, "Don't panic," and Chad jumps back like, "Panic!" And I cannot not mention how Zac Efron does this whole "too tight, it makes me look weird" dance. Freaking perfection. The whole thing is, what word should I use? One I haven't used before, I think. Fun. The whole thing is so fun. The dancing is amazing. The guys especially kill it for me. Honestly, I could listen to or watch this over and over again. You guys know by now how I love high energy, and this song is full of it. It's also a really clever way to sneak prom in there, knowing it's not going to actually happen in the movie. We don't feel cheated because this basically serves as the prom. We don't need another scene with another prom, and scrapping this for an actual prom would just take so much longer, taking time away from the other more important scenes. Other than that though, does the scene serve much of a purpose? If we cut it out and only have that small glimpse of prom in Can I Have This Dance, would the story suffer? The difficult thing with this movie is that a lot of its themes are around the last experiences of high school. Prom, graduation, your last basketball game, university, relationships, and all of that kind of stuff. So not having a scene that shows how excited the characters are for something as big as prom would hurt the story, I think. It's a big part of the high school experience for American kids. So it might seem like the story could function without it because obviously prom isn't a huge plot point, but it would suffer some, and that makes it an important song. We have to build the hype and excitement for some of these things so that it hurts when Gabriella has to miss them. And we feel even more emotional when Troy misses it to be with her or brings her back to the play. The movie is about that final year and all the milestones and saying goodbye. So we need those closure scenes, like just having fun with your friends at prom. All for One, High School Musical 2. My favorite choreography. I can do this dance perfectly right now if I was asked to, which means that I'm absolutely not sitting still when this song comes on. I don't even need to watch the clip to get hyped enough to dance, and I dance with the same energy I would even if I was watching it. So high scores on both those fronts. As for how it ties into the movie, I don't know, guys. Is it relevant? It's the closing number, exactly like we're all in this together, both of which the movies could honestly do without, but would just be so much less fun. It's like the celebration of, we solved our issues and overcame the drama and happily ever after, Plus, Miley Cyrus. If we take this song out, we have no Miley Cyrus, and that would be a tragedy. So, it's at least important for that reason. Bop to the Top, High School Musical 1. Compared to what I've been looking for, this is such a better performance in my opinion. Still not the caliber of Sharpay and Ryan in the second movie, but this is a school production, and in the second movie they are using their parents' money and are on summer vacation, so have all the time to just plan out elaborate productions. From the second this song starts, it's just entertaining. These noises Sharpay makes at the beginning are just incredible and make me so happy. And again, Miss Darby's reaction to their performance makes it so much more fun. They have actual choreography, which Troy and Gabriella don't have. I'd like to point that out. And that choreography is simple, but it just gives the song so much life. So in case you can't tell, that means I prefer watching it than listening to it on Spotify. Like, it's not boring to just listen, but it's also not as engaging. Obviously, it's relevant because it's the performance Troy and Gabriella have to beat to get the parts they want in the play, so it cannot be removed. Plus, and maybe more importantly, it's the performance that buys them all the time to pull off the scheme that gets them out of basketball and the math competition to even audition in the first place. Remove this performance and there's no way for them to make it in time. Scream, High School Musical 3. A rock song! Now listen, good people of the internet, rock is my favorite genre of music. So this song was my favorite forever and ever at a time when High School Musical 3 was my least favorite movie. So that tells you all you need to know about enjoyment and how it stands without the movie. It's the perfect song to just sing at the top of your lungs and be as angsty as you want. Punch and kick the air, play some air guitar. I mean, what more could you possibly want? Then the actual scene manages to be even better. Seriously, hats off to Zac Efron for this performance. He honestly deserved an Oscar, and I'm so serious. He embodies the emotions of this so thoroughly that you can easily forget that Troy is having this crisis about going to Juilliard or to play basketball. Then the visuals with the room spinning and all the basketballs dropping around him. I thought this scene with him kicking and punching the balls was the coolest thing I'd ever seen when I was first watching this movie. This whole sequence is just epic. No one can convince me otherwise. The question is it important to the movie? It tells us how conflicted he is and depicts it beautifully, but didn't we already kind of know? Maybe it's implied he's not completely sure about going to school for basketball, but he seems fine until he finds out he's being considered for the Juilliard scholarship. So this whole breakdown just feels a bit contrived in the first place. I don't know. If we took it out, I think the story is fine. At the end, just have him say he's choosing to go to school closest to Gabriella, and bonus points, he can do both basketball and music. Him being conflicted over music or basketball isn't that important to this story. Maybe it ties the themes of all three movies off nicely, because it started with him just doing basketball and wanting to hide his love for music. Then in the second movie, he blows off the music part like it's not as important as basketball, which could help him get into college. So in this one, it's like him finally saying that both are important to him. Wait, now I'm confused. Is this song important or not? I don't know. Let's just go with kinda-ish. So, what's the final score? Well, it's complicated, which I should have predicted with my complicated scoring system. High School Musical 3 wins with 5 songs in the top 5 if we count each song as one place, even if they have the same score. But if we say it's a tie when 2 songs have the same score and decide to put multiple songs with the same score in one place, then High School Musical 2 wins with 9 songs in the top 10, where High School Musical 3 only has 7 and High School Musical 1 only has 2. Do with that what you guys will. If you disagree with my rankings or method of scoring, as I'm sure many people do, I'm not sure I even fully understand the results myself, let me know in the comments down below. Which movie do you think has the best songs? this was so much fun. So I might do more song ranking videos like this for other movies. So subscribe if you'd like to see more of that, or if you want to check out my movie and series commentaries. Otherwise, that's it for this video. I'll see you next time. Bye!